status on and off becomes very useful later on. You'll see me balance this a little bit here in a minute. But I can actually toggle that thing on. If I know that I'm washing out a certain area and I have multiple lights, it could be any of those, right? So I want to be able to turn them off and be like, oh, okay, that's the one that's too bright. It's washing out this area. Let's lower the intensity of this one, flip it back on, that balance it. Nope, it's this other one, flip that off. Not delete and insert, right? Because that would be very, I think, cumbersome, having to delete the light, change all the properties of it, you know, when you put it back in, then be like, oh, that's not right. Delete it again, change it, you know, it gets to be tough.
Make it all
So
over again.
that's going to be the status. The intensity factor, which you're going to see here, I'm going to control. Like I mentioned, defaults to 1. So I'm going to put this to like 0.5, so 50% of what it was. And you can see it dims already. It's kind of returned my light post, which is kind of nice. My table is recognizable again. Maybe it's still a little bit bright. And then it gets into some of the different filter colors. So there's a few different ways to control this. You can see here that this is a 65 watt bulb. I can go down to fluorescent. I can go down to incandescent, xenon, halogen, metal halide. There's a whole bunch of those guys. And anything I pick here will go to the resulting color. Not many people mess with that. You can. Most people adjust the filter color here. Okay? And you can go through any of the default, or you can go down here and say, look, I really want to select my own color. And you can come out and you can change this to be like, I really want it to be like this lime green for whatever reason. But not any light lime green. I want it to be a nice light lime green. So you can come down here and, you know, select whatever colors you want through this thing, and it'll actually add them into this list. Okay. So again, I don't know how many people really mess with that. Some people do. Like this is an incandescent color I've made. So you can see now I'm still at a white light. I've changed the incandescent to be more warm. If you're familiar with lighting, it's like a more red instead of more blue kind of deal. So it's more of a warm. But that's a lot of just kind of messing around with that. So let me show you this thing. So when I render this, now I've kind of got this pretty good. Maybe a little too intense, but we'll call it good. But you can still see I have a lot of washed out areas here from shadowing, right? All of this guy I'm kind of losing. And this is where that web light really comes in. So I'm going to draw a line, and this is just how I do it, not like you have to. I use this line to attach the web light here, okay? And the reason I do that, is because now I can put this thing on something as an attachment. Some people draw a line up, just stick it at the top of the line. That's fine too. You can do it however you want. I know that if I draw it from corner to corner, it's at the top of the room, like a regular fixture would be, right? At this point, I'm going to go back to visualize. I'm going to choose from here web light, and I'm going to go right. I don't have my midpoint step on. I'm going to go right to the midpoint of this guy and click. So you kind of see, it's hard to see there, but that green guy is actually my midpoint snap. Just trust me. And see that line that's occurring now? Mm-hmm. This is my target. So again, I think I mentioned to you that with spotlights, distance lights, and web lights, you can point them at something. So I'm just going to say, look, I know that this thing is really washed out over here. So I'm just going to put it there. Again, same deal. I'm going to just go to exit there. And you can see now, of course, I'm going to have to adjust this. So same deal. I'm going to go to that little light properties, right click properties, and I can adjust this just like I did with the point light. So I can be like 0.25 maybe. Let me get this guy while I'm in here. And I'm going to render that to see how it looks. probably still pretty bright. So let me bump these guys down a bit. And you can go really, really low with these. Some people go like 0.0002.
Yeah, it seems like it barely needs anything.
Yeah, well, this room's probably pretty small. I usually try and draw them small just so that they don't lag when I'm doing the demo. Because if you think this is boring, you should watch it go. It's like watching paint dry. So you can see that's probably pretty good there.
Yeah.
Right.
Perfect shadow of
So you
the,
can cut now.
Yeah.
perfect shadow of the table
And again, the higher I went with the settings,
and more tone too.
the more detail you'd get. So you'd actually get a little more defined line on the shadowing. You'd get some more of the fabric. This is beige fabric. So you can actually see some of the fabric lines on that guy. The parquet, you'd probably see a little bit more gloss on the floor. So again, you know, there's kind of a lot of little details to that. I would say that in doing this project, the longest portion of it, as far as like trial and error, is lighting. Like most people can make the object, maybe that doesn't come out exactly how they want, so they have to remake it. That kind of sucks. But the thing that you're like, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, like 50 times to get the light just the way you want it. Because the disease you guys have, every one of you, is that you look at this and you know how you want it to look, right? But you can't get it to look that way.
No.
So you'll try and you get super frustrated and do it over and over again because you have a picture of how it should look in your head,
How it's
which
supposed
is
to look.
like the greatest gift and the worst curse at the same time, because it drives you to make it look even better all the time, which is awesome. But at the same time, it's really, really frustrating because you know how you want it to look. It's getting it there that's the trouble. Okay? So, I think that for that part of it, we're kind of good for lighting. Any questions on that? Okay, I want to show you the